Nowadays, people love to use computer because by this, we can make a lot of things. We can have fun, enjoy games, and most especially for faster communications. The aim of this project is to present the parts of the computer and its functions. But first, we will be going to introduce to you the two parts of the system unit, which is the front panel and the back panel.
Front panel. It was used on early electronic computers to display and allow the alteration of the state of the machine's internal registers and memory. It is also usually consisted of arrays of indicator lamps, toggle switches, and push buttons mounted on a sheet metal face plate. Parts of the front panel. Microphone jack. It is a small round outlet, usually on a computer, camcorder, or stereo, into which a microphone cord is plugged.
USB port, used to connect devices such as the latest digital cameras, webcam, cell phones, flash drives, USB mouse, USB keyboard, and any devices that are using USB connectors.
Power button is a round or square button that powers on and powers off a device. Reset button. It is a button that can reset a device.
The back panel. This is the most complicated part of a PC. It houses the actual computing power of a system, provides connections to all the peripherals.
The parts of the back panel. Parallel port, used to connect the printer to the motherboard.
Serial ports. These 9-pin connectors is one of the oldest and the most universal ports found in the back of a PC.
Line-in jack, used to input an audio signal to the computer. Example, audio cell phones, iPad, and etc. Line-out jack, ports where audio devices are attached, such as speakers. PS2 ports, used to connect the mouse and keyboard to the motherboard.
VGA port, used to connect fast cards such as graphic cards.
And now, let's move on to the motherboard component. But first, we need to know what is a motherboard. A motherboard is a system board of a computer or a printed circuit board that all essential parts of the computers are connected or welded. This is the ATX motherboard. We are using the ASRock Conroe 1333-D667 dual channel. Up next, we are going to know the parts of the motherboard.
ATX 12 volts 4 pins power connectors. It is one of the two power connections that supply power to the motherboard.
Memory slot. It holds the memory of the computer where a memory stick is inserted. It also plays vertically on these connectors.
PCIe or EGP slot. This is generally used for video cards and graphic design.
BIOS contains the BIOS software that tells the processor how to interact with the rest of the hardware of the computer. ATX 20 to 24 pins power connector. It is the second of the two power connections for the motherboard. This is also the main power connection for the motherboard, comes from the power supply. It provides the electricity needed for proper functioning of the PC.
FDD connector, used for floppy disk controller where you will hack it up.
CMOS battery, a small or flat battery that does not consume much electricity, is used to keep track of the initialization settings of the computer.
CPU fan connector, where your CPU fan is inserted.
CPU socket, it holds the computer processor where the CPU is installed or inserted. CPU or Central Processing Unit. It is the part that translates instructions and perform calculations.
Northbridge chipset. It is responsible for controlling high-speed peripherals such as memory bus, PCIe bus, L2 caches bus, processor, memory, and the EGP bus. PCI slot, used for expansion cards such as LAN card, serial card, audio card, and etc.
RAM, temporary store data or information that the CPU uses while the computer is on.
SATA connector, used for hard drives, CD, and DVD drive.
Southbridge chipset are responsible for PCI bus, IDE connector, the fluffy connector, BIOS, USB port, CD and DVD drives, mouse, keyboard, and serial buses.
System panel connector, headers that where you insert the front panel connections like power button, reset button, HDD lead, and power lead.